the free CVOR practice test. Is it worth it? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So here we go. All right, the free CVOR practice test. If you go online, you're going to find that there is a free CVOR practice test from MTO. And God bless MTO, they do a great job. They give you 30 some questions for free, and they even give you the right answers with a bit of explanation. Bravo for MTO. But is that enough? Is the free practice test that MTO gives you enough? I don't believe so. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, of course. I've got a course that I sell. And so you might say, hey, Chris, you're just trying to sell your product. And of course, you'd be right. Of course, I'm trying to sell my product. But I built the CVOR practice test bundle because I truly believed that the practice test for many people is just not enough. The practice test, the free one that MTO gives you, for many people is just not enough. Many people do that practice test, they feel good, they go write the 30 questions at the Drive Test Center, and they fail. A great majority of the people fail on their first attempt. Then they go back, then they decide to download the MTO book and read the 5 chapters that are really important when it comes to writing the test. And then they might spend the extra money and get my CVOR prep test course. Or there's a competitor out there, by the way, CVOR Test.com. I'll give him a shout out. He has a product as well. Mine, though, comes with over 100 questions. And the bundle gets you prepared for so much more. What happens after you get the test? Well, quite honestly, MTO has hundreds of questions. Where did I get my test questions from? I went and wrote the test 6 times for you. Yes, 6 times. And then I recorded the questions. And I kept going back and writing the test until the subject matter of the questions started to repeat itself. It was the subject matter, not the exact words, but the subject matter was repeating itself and repeating itself. So that's when I stopped, because I said, if you get to know the subject matter, that's really what is important, because what does MTO want? When you go write the test, they want you to understand what your responsibilities are. And if you understand what your responsibilities are when it comes to CVOR and trucks and companies and drivers and maintenance, well, then they've done a good job and they are protecting the public, making our roads safer. That, I believe, is the MTO goal. My goal is to help you pass the test the first time. Mine has a guarantee, a 30-day money-back guarantee. Why didn't I make the guarantee 60 days or something bigger? Well, because 30 days, my friend, is enough for you to do the practice test and then get off your butt and go write the test. If I can encourage you to do it faster, if I gave you a 60-day guarantee or a 90-day guarantee, many people would wait that long to start and achieve their goals. Well, I don't want to give you that much time, quite honestly. 30 days. Let's get to it. You set yourself a goal of getting your CVOR and starting that company. Well, let's achieve it together. The CVOR Test Prep Bundle comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. No questions asked. All right, if you don't like what I've done, if you went and failed the test and you want to blame it on me, go ahead. It's fine. 30-day money-back guarantee. All right, so that's it. The CVOR practice test for free. Is it worth it? Well, my friend, I don't believe it's worth it. I think you get great value from the CVOR Test Prep Bundle, and I would give that a shot, because you can go write the CVOR Ministry test Many times, I know several people that have written it 3, 4, 5, and 6 times before they passed it, and some never passed it. Well, if you prepare yourself, I know that you can pass it. All right, 30-day money back guarantee. Chris Harris, Safety Dog, and I'm out of here.